Okay, everybody, how you doing? Today we're going to talk about Temporum, which is surprisingly enough doesn't have a lot of videos or unboxings or playthroughs on Board Game Geek as of yet, which is surprising because this game's had a lot of press, it's been all over the web for like the last 6 months. Hey, this game's coming. So it kind of silently came out, and not a lot of people are talking about it. So it's by our old buddy Donald X. Vaccarino, who, as you know, or most of you know, did Dominion, which an award-winning game, card game that has tons and tons of expansions, and many of you have played it. It's a great game. After that, he came out with Kingdom Builder, which is from Queen's Game, which was a little bit more family-oriented, a little bit easier to teach. But again, basic rules, easy to get on the table. Then he came out with Infiltration, and recently a really cool card drafting game called Greed, which you even checked out. It's very cool. And now Temporum. This game deals with time travel. Okay, so it's kind of a fusion. It's a card game. I'd say it has a little bit of a Dominion feel as far as the way the cards look and how they play, with collecting coins and being able to play cards. And then sort of a kind of Infiltration, kind of had that futuristic kind of going down those timelines. So this kind of has that. Basically, in this game, you're manipulating time, but from the past to present, and you're kind of moving your folks up and down through different time zones. And basically, you're trying to create the perfect world per se by going and manipulating time and moving your crowns to the fourth time zone, which would be the future. So real quick, let's just check this out. So you see if it's something that you want to buy with all the games that are out there. Tons and tons and tons of games are coming out for the holiday season. So you get to that point where, what do I buy? Pretty big designer here. Do you want to buy his next game? Let's take a quick look. Okay, so let's talk about the basic setup for Temporum. This is illustrated really well in the rulebook, but we'll go over it real quick. First thing you always got to do is you got to pick out your player meeples. In this game, they're referred to as pawns in the rulebook. But it's very cool. You have 3 dudes, and you've got, actually, for the ladies that are going to be playing the game, we got 2 girls here. And you get the pink lady and the green lady, and then you got a red, white, and yellow guy. So in this place, I'm going to play the red guy, and of course we got to play the pink lady. And I was going to play with another dude, but I prefer to play with 2 women, so we're going to put them in there, and we're going to set up a 3-player game here. So these guys go out of the game, and then of course in all games we had to decide who goes first, and that's significant in this game. So we're going to go ahead and spin through these guys with the old spinner. Of course, there's nothing in the rulebook like who recently traveled through time or anything like that, so we're going to go with the old school way, the only fair way, and let's see who we get here. Then we get the pink lady goes first, so we'll go ahead and put her here, and then the green lady's going to go second, and the man is going to go third. So what we're going to do now is we're going to divvy up the coins, coin chits in this case. So in this game, it's different between 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, 5-player, as far as the denominations. So first player is going to get 0. Second player is going to get 3. And then the last player is going to get 6. So we'll go ahead and do that. Then you have your deck of player cards. Okay. You're going to shuffle these, and then each player is going to get 2. So we're going to go ahead and divvy those out. So that works out. So we'll just put those here, these here, real simple. Okay, and then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to separate the time zone cards into time zone 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is represented on the board. So you have time zone 1, time zone 2, time zone 3, time zone 4. And this is the time zone portion of the board. This over here is the crown advancement zone, which is also in 1, 2, 3, 4. And ultimately the goal of the game is to move all your crowns to the 4th time zone. First one to do that wins the game. Talk more about that later. Of course, we put our colors, our matching color and crowns in the color path that they belong to. So we're going to shuffle these up, and we're going to take 1, place it face up like that. And then we're gonna take time zone 2, place them face up like that. Time zone 3, we're gonna place them face up like this. And then time zone 4 is gonna go along the bottom. Oh, we gotta do this. This has gotta be here. All right, so then what you're gonna do is each of the starting players are gonna go on the second card in zone 4, which in this case is going to be the Age of Cats. Very cool. So this is when I guess cats are ultimately gonna rule the earth. So we'll put our 3 guys here. And then we're going to, well, they can't really stand on there, so let's lay them down. Here we go. Put the guy in the middle. All right, so that's your setup. And now let's play the game. Oh, wait, one last thing, of course. You have the little time zone, little path. These are called the path meeples. These could have been a little bigger. That would have been nice, so they stood out on the board a little bit more. But you're going to lay these out, and it's going to be the current time pass. So I don't know if you can see it here, but the little time travel beams here, one's lighter, one's darker. So you're going to go ahead, when you start the game, you're going to put these little path markers pointing down on all the light ones. And that's how you're going to start the game. Of course, you can see we have one path that goes from zone 1 to zone 4. That's the current timeline that we're in. So it would be the Age of the Stone Age, the Pax Buddha, the American Civil War, and it led to, of course, the Age of Cats. So that's the setup, and let's move on. Okay, so as I mentioned before, the basic premise is to move your crowns to time zone 4 through manipulation of cards, playing cards, and changing time from the future to the past. Okay, so currently we have this active line. This is the real time right now, and this is the only place that people can reside in. Okay, so on your turn, the first thing you can do is you can change history, so you can change it from the future to the past. Now, if you do this, I'm sorry, these are, again, they're really small. So you move this here. Now the path goes from the Stone Age to the Holy Norse Empire to the Cold War to the Age of Cybernetics. So that would change everything if you did that. The first player, since everybody starts down here at the Age of Cats and you can only move time below you, obviously the first player can't move time. So they would go straight to the next step, which would be to move their person. So Pink is first, and she can move her person to any of the real-time zones. And each of these cards are going to give you something you can do. For example, this Stone Age card, you can score a card. We'll talk about that in a minute. You can gain 2 chits per time you have no crown in. So in this case, you have no crown here in 2, 3, or 4. So you would basically, if you went here, which is what we're going to do, if you went here, you would get basically 6 chits. So you go there, you play that. This is called visiting a zone. So you move, now you're visiting this zone. So she's visiting the Stone Age, and she's collecting money. And then that would basically be the Pink Lady's turn. So she would be done. The last thing she would do is check for victory, which would be all her crowns are there. They're not there, so the game doesn't end, so it moves on to the next player. Okay, so now we go to the Green Lady's turn. She can't change time, so she's going to move. She, again, can go to any of these timelines. We're going to put her on the Buddha here. So when you get to the Buddha, she can score a card, play a card, or draw 2 cards. So she has an option to draw 2 more cards from the player deck. There is no hand limit, so you can collect as many cards as you want throughout the game. But just for the example here, let's say she's going to play a card. So she would look at her 2 cards, and we can take a look. One's blue, one's gold. And the difference is the blue cards are a perpetual card, which means if you play them down in front of you, and their ability goes out throughout the game. These, the gold cards are the momentary cards, so they're basically cards that have a one-time purpose. The Bag of Loot doesn't really. I'll explain that to you in a second. So let's say she decides to play the Explorer card. Basically, she's going to play this. This is what she instantly gets. So she's instantly going to get 6 chits. So she's going to take 6 chits. Okay, so she gets that money. And then this goes down in front of her, and now what's going to happen is when she draws a card, she gains 1. So now every time for the rest of the game, she draws a card, she's going to gain 1 coin. So that's basically what that does. So she'll play it down in front of her. If you look at the bottom here, where it says score, pay 16 for 7 crown movements, later in the game, if she had 16 and she was to land on here, on the Pax Buddha, where it also says score a card, she would be able to take this card from her hand, score it, pay 16 coins, and then move crowns, her crowns 7 spaces. And just real quick, so when you move the crowns, when you move these, and we'll talk about this more later, when you move them, this would be 1 movement, we're in pink, this would be 1, that would be 2, this would be 3, that would be 4, that would be 5, maybe she goes 6, 7. So she would pay 16 and she would move all her crowns down like that if she was scoring this card. But she doesn't have coin to do it right now, but that would be basically how the movement would work. So she's going to play that down in front of her. This goes back in her hand. So she's done visiting that zone. She doesn't have 10 in the 4th time zone, so we move on to the next player. Okay, so now it's the red person's turn. Same thing, can't change time or change history. So just for the demonstration here, we're going to move to American Civil War. He would probably go up to one of these other ones. But in this case, let me just bring this up so you can see. So American Civil War, basically, you play a card, gain 2 per time you rule. Okay, how you rule time zones is basically if I have the most crowns in any section at any time, and this also varies between 3, 4, and 5 players. In a 3-person game, whoever has the majority in one of the time zones rules that time zone. So if I was like this, if I had 1 guy here, there was nobody else, 2 here, nobody else, I would rule this time zone 2 and 3. So in this case, I would get to play a card from my hand, plus I would gain 4 coin for each one of these I rule. So that's basically ruling the zone. So there's an advantage to a little bit of area control where you're going to try to rule each of these zones, and you get different benefits based on that. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and play a card. Again, I could have gone to the Pax Buddha and played a card there, or draw a card, or score a card. But again, for demonstration purposes, just go to a different card. So I get to play a card. So again, I have my momentary card and I have my perpetual card. In this case, we're going to play a momentary one. This is Step on a Butterfly. Very pleasant. We're going to crush this pretty purple butterfly. Anyway, it says at the end of this turn, change history in each real zone going from past to present. So we'll do that. So first thing I'm going to do is I get to collect 12. So I'm going to collect 12. Let's just make it easy. We'll 10, 11, 12. Kind of have these cool, different looking chits. So there you go. So now I have that. And then I'm going to take Step on a Butterfly. And I collected my 12. And then at the end of my turn, so this is technically the end of my turn because I've moved, I've visited this zone. This is going to go to the discard pile. Now I have to change history in each real time zone, so going from past to present. So the real time zone right now is here, 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 and here, because this is our real path. So I would change the time. So I would change this to here. I would have to change this to here. I would have to change, oops, sorry, this to here, which makes this the real one, this to here, this to here. So now this path is completely changed. And in addition to that, everybody has to be in real time, which would mean this gentleman here, or this lady here, would have to move over here. And I can stay there because I'm still in the same time path, and she can stay there. So that would be the movement. And so now we have a new real-time path. Okay, so basically what you do is you just continue on that path. You're rotating around, changing time from past to present. You're moving your little meeples around, ultimately gaining benefits from all the different cards. And there's a lot of different really cool cards. The rulebook has a really good description of what all the cards do. So if you have any questions, you usually can find about 90% of the cards. Just to go back to the scoring really quick here. So here's the zones. This is, again, the crown advancement zone. So we're moving along. So if this was middle of the game right now, you would see that the pink lady right here, She has 3 in time zone 1, so she rules this zone. Red has 4, green 3, pink 1, so red rules this one. Green 4 to 2, they rule zone 3, and then pink rules zone 4, and pink is actually the closest to winning the game. So let's just go through a couple cards. So let's say it's pink's turn, and they're gonna play they land on something here. They're right here on Pax Buddha again, and they want to score a card. So she can go in and she can score this card. It has to be from her hand, not one that was played down here before. So this is pay 16 for 7 crowns. So let's say she had 16, so she would pay her 16 chits, and then she would be able to move crowns. So crown movement it doesn't have to be 1 crown 7 moves. It's 7 moves from time zone to time zone. So she would play this, and she could move, 1 here, 2 here to get there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So she's close to winning. Let's say she had 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 crowns. She would move all of her crowns into the 4th time zone, and then ultimately at the end of her turn, the game would end because she had beaten everybody there. And that's basically Temporum. So it's a very unique game. I can see a lot of expansions come into it with a lot more cards, but it comes down to simple rules: change history, move, visit the zone, and check to see if you've won. So there's a lot of really cool factors by moving this from past to present and changing the path and kicking people off the cards that they want to be on. Finding ways to either make more chits so you can play your scoring cards, or to draw more cards to put into your hands, to move your crown. So there's a lot of different cool factors, and that's basically how you play the game. Okay, so Temporum by Donald X. So first thing I want to talk about real quick is something that's real important to me in games is components. Okay, you start owning a lot of games, you start getting nitpicky about certain things. So a couple things about this game that I think they missed the boat on a little bit. No deal breakers here, because you can definitely change out pieces. But one thing is the little timeline, the little path things. They're real small. Their colors kind of blend with the board, and when you're looking at it visually, you want to be able to see this time, the real-time paths, and sometimes you got to kind of look down. I mean, we replaced it with big yellow lightning bolts so you could actually see, but again, I'm not quite sure if this was the plan or they were supposed to be bigger or what, but a little bit of miss there. One other thing, again, nitpicky stuff here. The coins aren't two-sided, they're one-sided, so although they're different shapes, it would have been nice to have it be on both sides. And the final thing is the people, they don't stand up very easily, so they're always kind of falling down, and, you're placing the crowns here, they're falling down. I mean, I guess if you're looking at it from downward, it's fine, but just a couple, little production things that I think could have made the game, that much cooler. But with that aside, let's talk about the game, because I think it's a really interesting game. It plays pretty fast. I mean, you can get this, once you get this game down and you start knowing the cards, I mean, you can knock it out 20, 25 minutes. The box is 35 minutes. It kind of gets a little intense. It's almost like a little bit of a race game type of thing, because you're trying to, see people going, and people can get, to score a card that, they move 8 crowns, and sometimes they have other cards that are part of those permanent cards that you keep that allow you to move more crowns. But you have to have the cards to score the cards, so you have to go to get the cards. So basically, usually like time 1 is usually scoring, this is usually getting cards, this is usually playing cards, and then there's a whole bunch of diversity in zone 4. So it gets really fun that way. I think 3 players is the sweet spot here, because there's only going to be one majority person at all times. It plays all right with 4 or 5, because you're still curious and watching what other people are doing. You're thinking about it, and it works with 2 as well. But I think 3's the best number to play with. So I really think it's an interesting game. It's a fast game. It has elements of area control. It has elements of racing. It has elements of card combinations. I can see some expansions coming. So it's a quick, could be a filler game, could be a game you play 2 or 3 times in a row, and it's really easy to teach. Finally, it's really cool that it comes with these little girl meeples, because I know how much our wives and girlfriends always want to play games. So now there's no reason they can't play games, because they can't pull that, well, there's no girl meeple for me anymore. So now if you get Temporum, you can change the path of reality and make it so the women in your life want to play board games. That's it. Check it out. It's a great game. Really worth owning. Add it to your collection. Take it easy.